Hello and welcome back to Endor. I have Finn with me again in his Stormtrooper disguise. This is my second attempt at recording and posting this video. I did post a video a week ago. Unfortunately, I failed to notice before posting that it had a serious audio flaw with a bad echo effect throughout the entire video. Not sure how I missed that when I listened through it the first time, but it was certainly evident after I uploaded it to YouTube. So my apologies to those of you maybe tempted to start watching it, that you had to deal with the bad audio as well as me deciding to take that video down. But I'm back in Endor here and want to give a quick tour of my Imperial base toy box that I've been working on. It's actually the first original project that I've worked on since completing my Return of the Jedi project that took me about 2 years to complete, which I posted back on last year's 10th anniversary event for Disney Infinity. So I'm happy here to share with you my first creative endeavor since then. As you can tell as I pan around here, it's an incomplete toy box, but I wanted to show it to you anyway and maybe try and get some suggestions. But I'll go through the tour first and maybe discuss some of my ideas after the tour. So starting out here at the back door entrance, the bunker here. And we'll go ahead and have a cool logic that I came up with where I send the logic from the button here to a logic gate on an input, and then there's an output to the outer door to open that door, which then sends a logic signal back to that logic gate to close it, such that when I hit the button a second time, it then has an input block signal to the second door, and on input blocked it opens that second door, and when that second door opens it then sends a logic signal back to the logic gate to open it again, which then will open or close the front door. So the order gets a little reversed here on closing the door. So first on the output there, that door closes, and then on the input blocked, because the logic gate was closed when that door moved, it then closes the door in the background. And you can know that because I have the sound effects accompanied with the doors opening and closing. So again, back on cycle here, the logic gate was open, so it opened up that door. Logic gate is closed, so on input block it opens that door. So that way, using a logic gate and alternating whether it's open or closed and whether it's accepting an input or input blocked, you can use a single device here, a button, a terminal to be hacked if you want. Like here on the inner, for the inner logic, I'm using this hang bar, and since it has two logic connections, it has a pull down and a return to the top, so I can input to the logic gate when pulled down, which will open a door, and that will close the logic gate. And then when return to top on the input blocked, it'll open or close the other door and then reopen the logic gate. So it's kind of a cool way to use just a single logic button or mechanism to trigger the door through the logic gate without having to have a separate button or logic tool for each door. So we'll continue down into the hallways here. Some Star-Lord's security cameras. Thought it add some cool visual interest to the hallways here. Looking back up, and I always like to, when I have stairs, to use these upside down long wedge blocks. It exactly mimics the slope of the stairs and makes for smooth camera transitions as you go up and down the stairs. I may have made these hallways a little longer than they needed to be, but my idea was you'd be fighting stormtroopers along the way here. This toy box is inspired by, of course, the movie deleted scenes, as well as the Imperial Endor base elements that are part of Battlefront 2. So now we come into the power generation control room, and one of the, I guess, fortunate byproducts of my having to take down my original video because of the poor audio quality is recently That Brown Bat has been uploading his fantastic Endor Imperial Bunker toy box that he created back in the 2016-2017 time frame, and he's now completed uploading all those all 11 of those toy boxes for the or videos for the entire toy box series. And one room that I probably struggled with the most was this room, and it's because I just didn't know how to handle doing the power generator. And when I saw his video where he was creating this room and he used those Dr. Doofenshmirtz innators for the top portion of the power generation system, that was the key missing piece of the puzzle that I just couldn't figure out. I would have never thought on my own to use that particular item from the interior toy box to complete the design and look of this. I was using these blue lit Avenger pillars from the interior, but in my original design I just had a single column running down the center, and I had them connected with the slide rails themed to the Death Star pipes, which has a glowing blue light as well. And then I used this electric radial impact or radial burst effect that I'm still using. So it was actually fortuitous that he was posting those videos, so thanks That Brown Bat. I had to steal your idea because, after all, a good idea is just a good idea. I also hadn't taken the time to create these little hallways in my original design. I was ignoring them. I decided since I was going to redo this area, I might as well throw them in. I just have false doors there. It doesn't lead anywhere. In his design, those hallways do lead to other rooms. I didn't do anything with it because I'm running real short on the memory, and I would need to have a purpose for those corridors to lead somewhere anyway. But it is more accurate to the movie, because when the Rebels first come in with Han and Leia and Chewbacca and their small team, there is a officer that comes from behind this blast door, and then when they get captured, there's a number of stormtroopers that come in from this direction, as well as in through the main entrance where they put the explosive to open that door. I also worked quite a bit on trying to figure out how to make this upside down V-shaped view screen. I think this came out pretty cool. I just have a path there. In fact, you can see the top point. The bottom point is just that floor level here. And then I attach these ramp blocks, the tall blocks, the long block, another tall block over here, and then a 3x3 flat wall block. And then just adjusted the properties after I attached them to the path to get them into position. These down here are the 1x3 terrain blocks, and my theme that I'm using here is the from the power disc for Calhoun's command. And there's another one right there, because those are only one of two of the terrain blocks that I believe can be attached to a path. And then I just moved them down on the path a little bit, a -2 on the vertical, and these I moved up +2 on the vertical to get them into position. So I think that view screen came out pretty cool. I'm also using, this is the shield screen. As far as we can tell from the movie, and I really don't know what's on that wall, we never really get a good look at that wall. I think it was just a blank wall with some bulkheads that form the overall structure of the room. But it seemed kind of odd to me that you'd have a workstation that would mostly face that direction, but with a blank wall. So what I did is I placed this shield screen, put a trigger area around it, and then added in my terrain blocks to blend in with it, so it's flat up against that wall. So I've got that information screen, and I guess you could consider this with the hologram effect on that wall block there. That is perhaps it's in test mode. And then I added kind of a little fun thing here with the trigger area. Go in, it'll give you a proposal. If you say accept the proposal, closes the blast doors or reopens the blast doors. So there was, if you I got some still shots from the movie, and there was blast doors that were open, but you could see the edges of them hanging out through these bulkheads. And speaking of these bulkheads, right here, this is also from the interior. That is the helicarrier pillars. Basically, this entire toy box was born from the idea of thinking that these pillars made good bulkheads for wall structures as well as for doorways, and would be particularly fitting for a Star Wars themed toy box. And the Endor Imperial base was kind of what really came to mind. When I did my Return of the Jedi project, I had the Endor toy box for those parts of the movies with a variety of missions, but there wasn't enough memory to make a more extensive Imperial base. I had a very simple bunker and a very simple Imperial base at the shuttle landing sites. So this was kind of one of the things that I wanted to do after that, was create a more extensive Imperial base. I guess it's a bit of fan fiction because don't know really what the whole structure looks like. Like I said, I'm just kind of using the movie, deleted scenes, as well as Battlefront 2 for at least inspiration for the ideas. And this door here will close. I put a 10-second timer on it. I don't know, I might change that, but kind of my logic here is when one button is pushed, it deactivates the other buttons so that that button can't be pushed or shot at to, which would possibly mess up the sequencing of the door. So I wanted something on a grand scale, and I was thinking of this massive underground facility that may exist there at this base. And I always wanted to use these pieces here in a toy box, and I never really had, but these Heroes Duty Bridges and the set pieces, and this toy box was just perfect for me to finally use it. And what's cool is you can see through the graded floor, and this is my grand idea that I came up with. It is an underground AT-AT service and loading bay. And I don't know really how much sense this makes, but it sure was fun to create and work on, and I think it looks really cool as well. And then we come here to this overlook, and up there is the surface level of the base, and down here is the massive lifting bay. And I just have those great panels there to suggest that there's a lifting mechanism, and these corner wall pieces and 1x3 tall wall pieces to set to the Geonosian theme to just suggest it kind of looks like it's a track system. So it has some sort of guidance tracking system to raise this. I actually didn't set that to a path. There wasn't much sense to go to that effort or waste the memory, because the AT-AT cannot be connected to a path anyway. So I have no way to move it out of the room, and I have no way to make it go up and down on the platform. So it still looks, I think, at least my opinion, looks pretty cool. And we have a service lift here. And after a 3-second delay, the doors close. Same logic that when one button is pushed, it deactivates the other button. And then when the doors close, both buttons are reactivated. And once again, that's just so the sequencing doesn't get messed up. And we have a mid-level here. This is just a false door suggesting that that corridor goes off in that direction. And then we have our loading dock here, for the mid-level. And we'll go ahead and just jump down to the bottom here. Various cargo crates in that for decorations. These come from the interior. This comes from the Force Awakens building set 7. A couple of fantasy terrain pieces here set to the kiln. The tanks from the Force Awakens. And then I needed some sort of, when the player's down here, there needs to be some logical way for that lift to go up and down. So I came up with this hydraulic system. And it has a little warning buzzer as it's going up and down, and the little warning caution areas here for the moving platform. And then we can ride it back up to the top. And we'll proceed with our tour here up into the surface level of the base. Now this was a part that was, it's not a, I didn't map it out, it's not a duplicate, it was just inspired by the various Endor Imperial bases in Battlefront 2. So there were sections where there were windows at the armored windows at the surface level of the base. So I came up with this design. So I'm using this ledge hang. And then right above it is this small vertical barrier. And notice it doesn't have the silver ledge hang. And there's a reason for that, is because these pieces here and these pieces cannot be attached to a path. But this one here that has the moving ledge hang, and this one here can be attached to a path. And you can see I have it to a path there. And it only has a single bar on it. So that's why I have the two pieces here, so that you see a single bar. Then I had to attach logic to this through a level starter to, on the level start, to make this bar move down. So it has various logic connections you can make to it. So the level starter tells this bar to go to the bottom, and then after a 2-second time delayer, 2 seconds is about right, it then will turn it off, and that ended up being perfect to latch these bars here in the middle so that they match these here that do not move. And that continued all the way around. So then here we have like maybe a forward operations command center. Another false door, just indicating that more of the base extends that direction. And I'll come back to that next, or a little bit later. Have another exit here, and we have a gate here with a trigger area, so we can ride this lift up. And this will either call or send the elevator back down. And when it gets to the bottom, it locks the trigger area out so that the gate won't open. And then when you call the elevator back up and it reaches the top floor here, trigger area is reactivated and the gate opens. Another false door here, just again suggesting the base is larger than what it actually is, and it continues that way, that direction. Now, in what I've seen in Battlefront, as well as pictures of the base, is there were various overhead walkways that connected various parts of the base, including to the landing platform here. So that was kind of cool to put this on a trigger area connected to a sidestep camera. Can also escape out of it and just go to a normal view. And let's see, where's the camera? It's out there somewhere. And then we have our platform here. There's the camera right there. And while I was building this, this was something I added in later on, but I got to thinking, well, if there's an underground AT-AT service bay, they wouldn't have left the AT-STs and the speeder bikes and that all just sitting out in the open. They got somewhere, they need to have somewhere to service them in that as well. So I came up with this hangar bay. I thought this was a cool idea for cargo and for the AT-ST and speeder bike storage and servicing. So we come into this bay here, little workstation over here. This logic works the exact same way as the bunker doors. So we have AT-STs for two players, speeder bikes for 2 players. That's the Death Star fantasy terrain pieces set to the Death Star lights. These are 6 blocks high and my walls are 3 blocks high. So I put a trigger area right here to cover those 2, and then this large terrain piece. You're able to blend that into the fantasy terrain using the trigger area trick. And it looks quite natural. Those top lights there, they don't get cut off. Right where they end is where the ceiling is, so it looks quite natural that those pieces are only 3 blocks high and not 6 blocks high. Some shelves over there with cargo stored. This wall was kind of barren over here, so I was put a couple path creators and was playing around with various shapes and textures. So came up with this pipe design. Maybe it's part of a ventilation system that allowed me to, because of attaching these blocks to a path, I put in these kiln decoration pieces here. And it looks kind of natural that they're just a natural part of that, so that kind of came out cool. That's also a fantasy terrain set to the Death Star, and then using the trigger area to blend these blocks into the sides because it's angled on each side and not straight. Again, another couple of false doors here, just suggesting that there's rooms or corridors that extend beyond this area. And one of the things that was noticeable or that I got from inspired from Battlefront 2 was that there were, at the main base, there were a number of these bunkers for entrance into the underground base, and they were the exact same design as the backdoor bunker that is featured in the film. So I made the same exact creation here. These are identical bunkers to what is over on the other side of the toy box in the forest area. And that's one of the cool things about this sky dome is I created a box canyon here for the base to sit in, and I didn't have to put a lot of tree decorations up around there because the toy box takes care of that for me. Even have the Death Star up there. So that with the design of the box canyon, that takes advantage of the sky dome being able to provide the background trees. And then there's my shield generator antenna, of course, facing in a direction aimed up at the Death Star itself. And just put some decorations back here, some things I thought would be on the Imperial base. Have another bunker here, and I put in the logic, but there's nothing back here. And quite honestly, there isn't the memory to do anything else with this toy box. So that's why after the tour, I'm going to share some of my ideas and maybe ask for everyone to leave some comments in the comment section. See if you have any, if you like my ideas or have any suggestions. In one of the pictures I saw, there were these fairly low to the ground level cylindrical tanks, storage tanks I suppose. So I came up with this design using these corner canyon pieces and placed them down and used the trigger area trick again in order to blend in these kiln decoration pieces, as well as to put this large terrain block and blend them into these corner pieces, corner canyon pieces. Same thing here. These these pipes, the slide rails set to the pipe theme. Just put them in using the that same trigger area trick. Same thing with these blocks back here and these kiln pieces as well. But kind of came up with a cool tank design. And by blending in these 3x3 blocks, it kind of suggests that that structure goes back in behind that rock wall. Maybe some sort of servicing area back there. So that's my Imperial base at Endor toy box. And the next thing I'll do is, for those that want to stick around and maybe leave some suggestions, I will discuss some of my ideas and ask for ideas of what to do with this toy box, because of where I'm at with the memory. As you can see there, I'm pretty far up into the red, and I haven't put in really any logic for enemies or anything. There isn't too much more I can do with this toy box. It just kept kind of growing. It became a behemoth. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I'm here back inside the base at the AT-AT service and loading bay just for orientation. And we're going to come back down inside the hallways. Down to this bulkhead here. So I need to free up memory. So what I've done is I've created two toy boxes. See here, I have an Endor Imperial Base 1, and that's at the back door entrance, and the Endor Imperial Base 2, which is here at the main base. And what I did to split these up is I have my main toy box, which we just toured, and a backup, because I've learned that lesson about accidentally overwriting or deleting toy boxes without a backup. So what I did is I took this and I deleted half of it and made this toy box, and deleted the other half and made that toy box. And this was the juncture, or the point where I decided to do that. So my number one toy box is everything on that side of the bulkhead. So the wooded area out around the back door bunker, as well as that door all the way down there, leads to the power generation control room. And then the toy box ends right here, which frees up a lot of memory for this side of the toy box to really expand the outdoor forest area. I've maybe thinking of coming up with another speeder bike chase, maybe doing something a little more extensive than what I had in my Return of the Jedi Endor toy box. Put a false door here with a button, and when the button is pushed, instead of opening the door, it invokes a toy box door, which will then load this half of the base, which is my Endor Imperial Base number 2. And it's the same deal. When you get to this point here, that half of the toy box doesn't exist. There's a false door, a button. Button is pushed, it'll invoke the toy box door, which will then load the player back into this toy box. So here's my dilemma and what to do with the game, because I'm splitting it into two toy boxes. Where do I start? Do I start the game up here in the main base, or do I follow the movie and start the game over here on this side with various activities to do, including to the point of getting down in here into the bunker, into that room to destroy the shield generator, which then will lead to this toy box, which is maybe more of a Battlefront style of game. Maybe teams, a blue team for the Rebels and an orange team for the Imperials. You could even do it with one or two players. With two players, one player could be on blue team and the other player could play, I don't know, Darth Vader or Finn here in his stormtrooper outfit, or whoever you wanted to play, and be on the Imperial side, and maybe have a not really sure how to do the logic, but have a winning team. So maybe this half of the toy box will more mimic the movie, and this half of the toy box would be more like a Battlefront style gaming style. And when I connect the two toy boxes, does it make sense to just join the corridor here or here, going back and forth, or would it make sense to join the toy box somewhere up at the ground level of the base, perhaps somewhere up here? In my number 2 toy box, I actually did have these cliff walls come around this way, around a corner and around a corner here, that leaves an opening looking out over those trees, but covers up all of that, so the player never really sees any of that. So my one thought is that the player would spawn in over here, come down this way, around and down into the base. So that's some of the ideas I'm exploring. I'm not sure which is the best way to handle it. I didn't, as usual, I don't do put a lot of thought into mapping out or planning out my toy boxes. It just kind of starts with a basic idea, and then I just brainstorm and go with it. And it was really these helicarrier pillars here is what really, where this whole idea for this toy box began, was with this item right here, which is kind of funny, but that's how this whole idea came about, and this is the resulting toy box. Anyway, for those who took the time to make it all the way through my video here, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Feel free to leave comments. Let me know what you think of the toy box, and let me know what you think the best way to proceed with completing this toy box is, because some of you might have better ideas than I have. Once again, thanks for watching, and everybody have a great day.